if I could ask you about Hurts, so he's only this year is guaranteed in terms of like what he has left on his contract. It's like 50 something million. So would you say if he didn't get an extension this offseason that it would signal to the Eagles, okay, this is it for not this is it for you, but this is go time, Jalen, to be the quarterback that we thought we were getting when he won a Super Bowl. I
Yeah.
mean, they could just say that we got what we wanted, but look, I'm sure that they would love to have him for if he gets back to maybe where he was playing in 2022 and towards, in the playoffs in
Yeah.
2024. How do you view whether they
I
extend him
mean,
or not as as a sign of how they
yeah. I mean,
him?
the problem is like how the price has escalated. And I think once you pay one of these guys at the top of the market, it's really hard to go back to them with a deal for less than that. And, I mean, now at this point, it's been, I think, and do it in my head, it's been a while. I'd have to look this up, but like, how long has it been since Dak Prescott did his contract? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
I think he did his before Hurts, correct? Or Hurts got ahead of everybody.
No, he was after Hurts, but like his contract was done. Yeah, so his contract was done in 2024. Yeah, so he signed a 4-year, $240 million deal in September of 2024. That market, so we're talking about that's 18 months ago now. And like it was at 60 18 months ago, and the cap has escalated big time since then, right? If Jalen's going to go back to the table, is this 65? Is it 70? What are you asking for? And like I do think like if he goes back to the table, it could lead to some sort of butting of heads because this is going to be an uncomfortable thing for anybody to approach. And the reason why, Jeff, is because so last year the draft class that was eligible for new contracts was the 2022 draft class, right? So that was the Brock Purdy draft class, which had only one first round quarterback, and that was Kenny Pickett. So you didn't have like this massive market moving contract last year. So now it's been 18 months. So now, like if you're Dak Prescott, you look at that and say, well, that's 2 years of inflation because his was done on the 24 salary cap. This is being done on the 26 salary cap and 2 years of the cap moving. I mean, he wouldn't be out of line to ask for 70. And if you're the Eagles, do you do that? And I'm with you. Like if a player comes to a team looking for a contract adjustment or some sort of market correction and you're not willing to give it to them, then that can certainly lead to hard feelings between a team and a player. And again, like I think that distance, that 18 months between Dak doing his contract with the Cowboys and now is like a little wrinkle to this whole thing when you think about how to value a player at the top of the market.
Yeah. In some cases you want to extend a guy to make him feel good about himself and his place on the team in the future. And
Mhm.
but you also look at the pass offense the last few years, and I think the Eagles have ranked somewhere around 20th or less than that. And it just calls into question, I think, if you don't extend him, because typically you would use this as an opportunity to lower, give you some more space, right? Spread the money out, lower the cap if you want to sign someone this offseason. I wonder also what they're going to do about Tanner McKee.
So they've been resistant to move him, which is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like I just think like they got some calls on him last summer, and generally you would think, okay, like you've developed him. Like the ideal is that you're able to move him for a draft pick. You're there. Somebody's willing to give you something for him, and then you don't do it. Like that, at least. I mean, I think it colors how much they like him. And what they think of him. And there's part of me that wonders, Jeff. Like, I'm not wishing anything on anybody. God forbid he gets hurt. But if Jalen Hurts were to miss a month and then they get like a look at Tanner McKee in the fall, what sort of effect does that have? I think they view as McKee as a guy who can start. Does that mean he's like a long-term starter for somebody? No, not necessarily. But like I think they do view him very much. They feel pretty confident that he's a guy who can start for them.
Well, we've seen him play late in the season and this final game of the season, which had no meaning. They had him start, and he did well when Devontae Smith was in there, and then not so well when it was all of second
Yeah.
teamers. And I think a lot of people viewed his performance in that game because he was shaky,
Yep.
especially when under pressure, as like maybe taking off the table any team willing to give the Eagles what they wanted if they were willing to move him ahead of his fourth season, like a second round, or maybe they could get a third or a 2027 third or something like that now. But I don't know, as you mentioned, if they'd be willing to do that because they know the importance of that backup position more than almost anybody. If you look at Nick Foles and other guys who've stepped in but they've also known how they've also done a better job of trading those guys.
And then they're probably the team that's going to put another one in the pipeline, right? Like, so, I mean, I would certainly think they'd be a team that, it's probably not, I mean, it's not going to be Mendoza, obviously. It's probably not going to be Ty Simpson, but like, would they look at like a Garrett Nussmeier or a Drew Aller or somebody like that, like later on in the draft? I think that's certainly possible.